Hey guys, Ron here again. So my truck's been running really great. It's become my daily driver. However, the other day I heard a little backfire. Sounded like it was coming through the carb. And then again, and by the time I got home, it was basically pretty consistent backfiring and just sounding rough. So I figured backfiring through the carburetor, the first thing is probably running too lean, a leak, blown a gasket somewhere or so. But I ran it when it was rough, and I sprayed some starter fluid around all the gaskets, between the float bowl and the air horn on the carburetor, between the carburetor and the intake manifold and it just didn't smooth out. Here, I think I hear backfiring, how rough it is. Here you can see it idles okay. As soon as you give it any gas, it starts backfiring. No good. So, I think you can see here a crack developed on the venturi. I mean, this is the piece, the air flowing by creates the vacuum that sucks the fuel into the air to make the proper mixture. So with that crack, it's going to run too lean, and as we know, too lean means backfiring. All right, a little JB weld, and we'll see if that does it. I think we'll probably go for a more permanent solution if this fixes it, but this will be a good test. So repairing the crack did not fix the situation. Pretty much the same as before backfiring through the carb. So I decided to buy a new carb and see if there was any difference. The first one I bought from Amazon, shown here, stated it had a manual choke, but in fact it had an automatic choke. So I returned that one and then found this one, which in fact really did have a manual choke. Unfortunately, the new carb had exactly the same results as the old carb, the same old backfire through the carb. So the next option would be something with the ignition, which I pursued. So I'll walk you through what I did and how it wound up. The mechanical points in a distributor have been replaced with a Pertronics mag pickup, and we'll start there and check it out. So the first test is to make sure we bypass the resistance wire properly, and we're getting a full 12 volts to the coil. So black on negative right on the positive terminal, and I think you can see we get 12.3 volts right where it should be. So next I measured the resistance across the coil, and as you can see we got just about 2 ohms resistance. So looking at the instructions, it says the primary resistance for the coil should be a minimum of 0.6 and a maximum of 3.5 ohms. So 2 ohms falls right in the middle of that and should be good. Just to be safe, we replaced the coil with the coil recommended by Pertronics. And while we're at it, we replaced the spark plugs and the spark plug wires. So out of an abundance of caution, I got a rebuilt distributor, which not only took away anything that might be wrong with my distributor, but it came with mechanical points, which would eliminate any issues that I might be having with the Pertronics mag pickup. Unfortunately, when I swapped out the distributors and put in the mechanical points, the results were exactly the same backfire issue. So now we pretty much have eliminated anything to do with the carb or the intake manifold, anything to do with the timing. And if I listen carefully, I can hear a kind of a ticking noise in the engine itself, which was kind of hidden by all the noise from the backfiring. But it's pretty clear there's something going on in the engine. Compression test shows 150 pounds in all 6 cylinders. Also, there's no evidence of water in the oil, and so the likelihood of a bad head gasket is pretty slim. So my theory is an exhaust valve not opening. So if that were the case, the exhaust gases would not be able to escape through the exhaust valve. Those hot gases would get compressed, and when the intake valve opens up to let air and fuel in, the high pressure in the cylinder would allow the exhaust gases to escape back into the intake manifold, causing the backfire. With that scenario, you would still have good compression, and I believe it's the most likely scenario. But we'll see. I don't really have room in my garage to take off the head if it's something in the head, or even to change the lifters. So I am taking it to a shop, and we'll see what they come up with. The shop we took it to is One Stop Engine Rebuilding. They're located in Hawthorne, California, which is right near the Los Angeles International Airport. Because it took 10 miles for the backfire to fully develop, I suspect a collapsed lifter, and actually it turns out that's exactly what it was. The exhaust valve lifter on the number 6 cylinder. Unfortunately, the lifter collapsed because of damage at the bottom of the lifter, indicating damage to the camshaft as well. Turns out the damage to the camshaft was pretty severe. Here you can see the number 6 exhaust lobe is essentially completely gone, just ground away by the bad lifter. The engine has to come out to replace the camshaft, and it's not all that much more to do a complete engine rebuild, and so that's what I'm going to do. Turns out it was a good idea to go ahead and rebuild the entire engine. Here you can see there's actually a crack in the block, and basically had to find another block that was in better shape, that is no cracks, and use it instead of this one. Also, you can see here even though it was holding good compression, 150 pounds in each cylinder, the valve seats are pretty much shot and almost gone, so those will have to be replaced as well. And yeah, hopefully when we're all done, we'll have a almost like new engine. And here you can see the engine coming back together at One Stop Engine Rebuilding. And here it is, going back into the truck's engine compartment. Okay, the engine's in, and actually I drove it home. You can see what a really nice install this is. Everything's clean and painted. They did a really nice job putting everything together, making a couple repairs along the way. I don't know if you can see down there or not, but the clutch linkage was actually rubbing against the exhaust and was interfering, and they did a little modification, re-weld there, and now it moves nice and clean and clear. And yeah, Good job. Okay. Smooth. And we're just purring along. Got a little choke on. Initial start here. Easy, we're breaking it in. So it's nice and smooth. Coming up. Choke is completely off now. Nice and smooth. No hiccups, burps, just really solid. Needless to say, I'm happy to have my truck back. See you next time.